Resolution calls on the Scottish Government to develop a long-term coordinated strategy in partnership with schools, youth organisations, families, digital platforms and fact-checkers to build resilience amongst young people regarding online falsehoods. This strategy must be embedded in digital and media literacy across the curriculum from an early age. The resolution further urges that young people be meaningfully involved in shaping this strategy. This resolution today was composed with direct input from the young people that I teach as part of a groundbreaking project-based learning initiative focused on the dangers of online misinformation and disinformation. Drawn on their lived experiences of harmful falsehoods spread about them as young people online, my students engaged in a rigorous research-informed exploration of how misinformation spreads and its impact on mental health, trust and democracy. As part of that project, pupils worked collaboratively to analyse real-world examples, consulted with educators and fact-checkers and reflected on their personal encounter with digital harm. The result was a student-led bill outlining their recommendations for how Scotland should respond to this growing threat. Their proposals strongly emphasised education, empowerment and accountability over restriction and called for inclusive strategies that ensure that all young people, especially those from marginalised or digitally excluded communities, are equipped to navigate the digital world safely and critically. This resolution reflects the core principles of that student-led work. And in 2024, students presented their draft bill to the First Minister during a visit to the Scottish Parliament, offering a powerful example of youth voice, civic engagement and the transformative potential of young people to shape national policy.
I believe that we have a moral duty to make sure our population, and especially our young people, can navigate this online world with confidence. And that does start those early days in our homes, but in our schools. Just as we teach children to read and write, we need to teach them how to dissect that information and critically think, is this true, is this factual? Out on the doors, I often hear firsthand information about local immigration or asylum seekers or refugees. And myself and my team, when we've been going out and chatting to people, we saw there was a real issue with a lot of misinformation locally. So we've been gently nudging people, doing some fact checking and getting back to people with that through our office. But could you imagine the power of a society who instantly critically think about what they're hearing and reading and what the agenda might be behind that? So it isn't just about reacting to information after the fact, it's about preparing our young people ahead of the game.
Conference, online disinformation is not just a digital nuisance, it is a growing threat to our democracy and the well-being of our young people. Every day, children in our schools are exposed to hate, conspiracy and misogyny online. This content is normalising prejudice and shaping how a generation sees the world and each other. Teachers across Scotland are telling us that they see the effects in classrooms. Pupils are anxious, confused and too often accepting this type of language and behaviour as normal. That cannot continue. This is why the work of the TIE campaign and their partners in the Institute for Strategic Dialogue matters so much. Their digital discourse initiative, part funded by the Scottish Government, gives teachers the practical tools to help pupils navigate online spaces critically and safely. This work is already underway. Earlier this year, Professional Learning for Teachers was launched as part of a national CPD, and since January, feedback from educators has been overwhelmingly positive. Teachers are telling TIE this training has given them confidence, insight and real strategies to tackle online hate and disinformation head-on. And now with a £70,000 development grant, the next phase of the Digital Discourse Initiative is in progress. This funding will expand the programme into a fully developed educational response to online hate, misinformation and extremist narratives, building on early successes and reaching even more schools across Scotland. As a mum to a teenage girl, I see firsthand how online spaces shape attitudes, confidence and self-worth. It is vital that we give young people the tools to question what they see, to spot manipulation and to know that hate and misinformation are never normal. As Jordan Daly from the TIE campaign has said, education is one of our strongest defences against disinformation. And Katie Horsburgh from Zero Tolerance reminds us that tackling online misogyny is not just about equality, it's about safety. Resolution 18 recognises the fight against disinformation cannot be left to the social media companies alone. It is our collective responsibility to equip the next generation with the skills that tell truth from manipulation.
Disinformation is one of the biggest challenges we face today. It spreads faster than facts and shapes how people think, and too often fuels fear and division. We all see it all the time, even from friends who we know are good people. They say, "Did you hear about the migrant who was put up in a hotel, give hundreds of pounds at this fancy hotel?" And most mean no wrong, but we know they've been fed false information by bad actors like Tommy Robinson. And I don't think I've got enough time to talk about the disinformation spread about our party and our cause by the so-called established media. Stories like that spread online because they provoke emotion, not because they're based on facts. And that is dangerous. Disinformation doesn't just mislead, it erodes trust and turns communities against each other. And it makes it harder to have real conversations about real issues that actually matter. So we all have the responsibility to pause before sharing, to question before believing, and to listen before judging.